Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Tony, and you're watching the 80s era. By popular request, we are now doing another reaction video, only we're going to do something different. We're still on Drake Bell, I Can Relate. We've already done a version where it's just the vocals only. Now we're going to strip the vocals and have the entire backing track exposed. This song is so good with the orchestra, the harmonies, the strings, the violins, the trumpets, the horns, the pianos, the bass, and the guitars. This song has it all. So this is the instrumental version that we're going to be reacting to. We're not going to listen to Drake Bell singing, but this is the Drake Bell song, his arrangement, his song. Let's go ahead and react to I Can Relate with no vocals, but the beautiful melodies of I Can Relate. Let's check it out. The opening piano chord reminds me of the Monkees' Daydream Believer with David Jones. Exactly, the same chord progressions, just a different nuance, but clearly a tip of the hat to the 60s. This song is heavily, in my opinion, heavily influenced on the Beatles. As you're going to hear the song, when the strings come in, the horns and the trumpets, and then the piano, then the upbeat, total reminiscent of the Beatles' Penny Lane, the Beatles' Your Mother Should Know, the Beatles' Good Morning, Good Morning, Good Day Sunshine, total Beatles. I love it because what this proves already, Drake Bell can write a damn good song. Let's check out more of I Can Relate, the instrumental version. Oh, the horns and the trumpets, Got to Get You Into My Life by the Beatles. They used a lot of horns and orchestra back then in the late 60s. And I'm not saying this is a ripoff of the Beatles. It's clearly Drake Bell loves the Beatles, loves that music, that era, because whoever had input on this song, the arrangement is impeccable. Everything, the harmonies blend with the horns and the strings and the piano. Let's continue. Already I hear influence on "It's Getting Better All the Time." The drum beats and the beat is from a Beatles song. And he incorporates a lot of this. It goes from slow ballads to upbeat, uplifting type of chord progression. And these strings and harmonies go really, really well with this song. The arrangement by itself is phenomenal. I have both these tracks, Drake Bell Isolated, which I love listening to, and I have the instrumental version that we're listening to right now. I have it on my iPod, and I just love playing it over and over. It just sounds amazing. This sounds incredible. Let's continue. That was absolutely chilling. I love the instrumental version more than I like the vocal version. And I love the vocal version. That's just because I like to sing alone in my car when I'm driving. And so when I hear this instrumental track, I sing to it. It's just an awesome song. What are your thoughts on I Can Relate? Not so much the story behind it. We all know that. It's a troubled song. It's an uplifting song for Drake Bell. A therapeutic song. And everyone by now knows the backdrop of why the song was released, why he wrote it, and the lyrics behind it. And the video is very graphical, pictorial snapshot of his life and stages as a kid to adult. And the video is outstanding. The directing of this video is great. Drake Bell can sing like no other. To me, he reminds me of a younger version of Neil Finn, which I think is a great, great tribute. Neil Finn and Drake Bell. Take away the accent of Neil Finn, it's Drake Bell. So Drake Bell should do some covers of Crowded House or Split Enz. It'd be awesome to hear. The orchestral, the instrumental version we just heard is beautiful, very Beatlesque. Whether they were trying to copy or they were influenced or paying tribute. I'm not knocking it. It was just wonderful to hear in 2024. No other artist out there right now that I know of can do what they can do with this arrangement and have one reminisce. That reminds me of the Beatles. Who out there can remind you of the Beatles? Not many bands. The guitars on this. There's a part on the song where there's a harmony on the guitar parts. That reminded me of George Harrison back in 1995. And the vocals with the reverb on it and how they're layering it kind of reminds me of A Day in the Life from the Beatles with all the echo and the reverb. So the reverb effect of all the harmonies, the layering, and I love it. What are your thoughts on the instrumental version of I Can Relate? All right, I'm Tony. Thanks for watching the 80s era. In case you haven't realized, there's a brand new face to the 80s era. We used to be called Circa 1967. But I wanted to kick jump this channel. So I renamed it into the 80s era. And you guessed it, I'm a child of the 70s. I'm 57, was born in 67. So we're going to cover the 70s, we're going to cover the 80s, and we're going to touch up on the 90s. But I want this channel to be fun for all of you. And as you've already seen, some of the videos I have, totally awesome 80s dance moves. I love the 80s. I love everything about the 80s. But we also grew up in the 70s, and not many channels are out there that are going to cover that. So we're going to have fun with movie locations, film reviews, and pop culture, anything of the 70s and 80s I will bring to you. And yes, we'll catch up on some of the 90s and some of your favorite shows, era, what was going on in that era also. So if you want to stick around, I appreciate it. Thanks for sticking around already. Thanks for subbing. And again, we're no longer circa 1967. I wanted to jumpstart this channel, make it more fun, and get in the game. So I called it the 80s era. So we're going to have a lot of fun. Thank you for your support. Thanks for following me. And I'll see you all in the next video. Stay tuned. I have a lot of surprises. I have a lot of material. And my channel will be different than most, which is great. And I welcome all your input, suggestions, tips, whatever you want. I'm an open book. So go ahead and ask away. And if you have any requests, I will do my best to accommodate all of you, some of you, most of you. All right. I'm Tony, and you're watching the 80s era. And I'll see you all real soon.